Hello and welcome back to another episode. Thank you so much for being here. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, you have to do that. You got to hit that little button down below, as well as tap the bell for the notifications. We have the vlog, we have the cars, we have the garage project, we have agents coming to us from all over the United States to introduce themselves to you. But also, if you're an agent around the United States and you're looking for a referral partner, I now have someone for you here in Tennessee that can help you out all over the country. We have people moving, as you guys know, all over. And so I thought this would be a great, resource for a lot of agents, but also for my clients and for my colleagues here in the Atlanta area. We've had some amazing conversations with agents all over North America now. And as we continue to kind of roll these out, I really hope this is just a really valuable resource for you. But super excited to introduce you to Eddie today. And we're going to get right into it now. What is up, my dude? How are you?
Hey, what's up, Matt? How are you doing?
I'm doing really well, man. Thanks so much for doing this first and foremost. I really appreciate your time and the effort that you're putting in today. I know every real estate agent right now, if they're worth their salt, are super busy. We're seeing a little bit of a shift in the market. And so I can imagine that you are just crazy running around right now, but I really appreciate your time and committing a little bit of effort this morning for us. I really do appreciate that.
Anything for you, buddy. I appreciate everything that you guys do.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. So for the people that don't know you, who are you? Where are you? What do you do? What makes you guys different? Talk to us a little bit about your career in real estate, but also, again, I think, the question I love to answer, but the question I love to ask as well is what makes people different? And also you're a realtor and what else does Eddie like to get into?
Good question. So my name's Eddie Rockensock. I'm out of just outside of Nashville, little city called Mount Juliet. Not so little anymore, but born and raised there. Lived there my whole life. Actually, all three of the houses that I've owned that I've personally lived in are all within a 5-mile radius. So I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but know the local market. So I think that helps. But
yeah, hyper local.
That's right. That's right. I was. Went to Mount Juliet High School, moved away, played a little college basketball, came back, was actually a teacher and a coach basketball for a while. And that job kind of changed as education kind of has. And I'm actually a third generation realtor. So my grandmother was a realtor. My mom was a realtor. And as my teaching job and coaching job started changing, I had some extra time on my hands. And I was like, well, let's just dabble in this and see what comes of it. And fell in love with it. So kind of started my transition into it. That was almost 12 years ago now. I came on to help my mom start a team, which ended up just being me and her and a transaction coordinator. And since then she's retired, I've kind of taken it on and built something a little bit bigger. So we've had as many as 5 agents and did a little coaching program where I brought other agents in and coached them and kind of help get them up. And now I'm kind of trying to be a little more hyper focused in how we do things and the service and the systems that we provide. So just a little more hyper focused now and kind of feel like we've gotten in our niche now and loving it.
I love it. I love it. So I got to ask, because I don't run into many third generation real estate professionals. Was this something that, as a kid, you were growing up? I mean, obviously, you were really close to this industry before you could even go and get your license. So was it something that you always dreamed about, thought you would get into? Or was it no, that's the family business, I have no desire?
Yeah, so it was just my grandmother and just my mom. And so the whole family wasn't really into it. And so it never really, I remember growing up when my mom started to make a big name for herself, like when I turned 16, I think she was more excited than I was because now I could run her contracts for her. But that was before fax machines and all of that stuff. So I remember always helping her in it, but my love was basketball. My love was the teaching. And so I never thought it would really cross paths. And then as my teaching job where I was doing it and where I was as a coach, kind of that ran its course, and it was a great thing. Like I said, nothing wrong there. Um, it was comfortable. Like I already knew that. I grew up listening to all the words and hearing all the conversations, and it was just kind of that spark that said, "Hey, there's a lot of teaching in real estate. There's a
Yeah.
lot of that." And so the finding the problems, the fixing the problems, the educating the data, like that helped move the heart to say, "Hey, this is a good direction to go." And thank the Lord. Lord's blessed me a lot of ways. I feel like just because that stuff is good for me, I've failed forward quite a bit in it, and a lot of it's just constant prayer and and trying to do the right thing.
I get it, man. No, I love that. And I think that's a great business philosophy. Like, I think there's a lot of distractions and a lot of, you know, lessons out there about how you can get ahead and how you can improve and how you can get better. But I'm with you. I like the idea of like just treat people right and work hard. And I think it'll all work out eventually. So I love that. Well, talk to us a little bit about your area. I mean, obviously, kind of being born and raised, I love that because just like you, I'm born and raised here in Atlanta now. Haven't always been within 5 miles or so, but talk to us a little bit about the area, about real estate there, what you're kind of seeing. Obviously, again, we try to keep this kind of evergreen so that people watching this a year from now can get to know Eddie a little bit better. But obviously, I love to have people that are data driven, that understand their market, that really are experts in their field. So talk to us a little bit about your area as it relates to, say, June 2022.
Sure. So our area is still super hot. We are in a so my hometown's Mount Juliet, right? Wilson County. So Wilson County, I'll talk a little bit more about Wilson County. It's just east of Nashville. We're the second best school system in the state of Tennessee. So we have a huge push for our schools. So a lot of people move in here for our school system, which I think kind of helps me being in the school system before this, kind of going that way. But I feel like, I mean, everybody hears the softening, everybody hears the interest rates. We're bringing so many jobs to Nashville and surrounding counties that I feel like, specifically Wilson County, but really anything east of Nashville is a little bit protected and a little bit slower than adjusting. Right, it's still a hot market. It's not going to soften as quick as what most of the other areas are going to do. And then the other thing that's kind of I don't know if it insulates us a little bit, but as you get past Mount Juliet, it's very rural. And that's where a lot of big businesses are coming. And I think I heard something the other day, like 16,000 jobs just in 2023 are projected to move to Wilson County, which is obviously outside Nashville. Some of those are going to be commuting into Nashville and doing those kind of things. But we are a little more insulated than I feel like. And so our demand is still super, super high. I think we're at 4 days currently of inventory in Wilson County, which is still makes it, when we look into Nashville and you're getting into the 22, 23, 24 days, like we feel like that's a shock, and we're still 3 or 4 days in Wilson County. So, great area, very, very, very low taxes. That's another big draw, no state income tax. So the affordability here is fantastic, and compared, as big a city as we are, compared to other similar sized cities.
Yeah. Well, low taxes and great schools, say no more.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Sometimes the roadways need a little love, but you can deal with that.
I love it. Well, I love the fact that you start out with the numbers, because you know me, I'm a numbers guy. I love to dig into the data and what's kind of happening. And you mentioned 4 days. So for the consumers out there, 4 days of inventory basically means if not one new house came on the market in the next 4 days, not one house for sale in Eddie's area. That's basically what that equates to. So when you hear 1 month of inventory or 2 or 3 weeks or 22 days, that basically means if not one new house came on the market, there is no inventory. And I think just parallel to you, I mean, we're definitely seeing a shift here in Atlanta, but nothing like everyone is talking about. Like, yes, interest rates went up. Yes, that will knock a lot of people out of the running for a $500,000 home. Now they may be looking at a $400,000 home, which, that's just the natural progression of 2 years ago when I was telling people interest rates like in the twos and high twos and low threes, like historically, just look historically, you'll know that's a great interest rate. This might be the time to buy. But I think also, and one of the things that I love about your business philosophy is, and I've heard you talk about this several times, but timing is everything in real estate, and timing has to be right for our clients. And so to me, as an agent, it's not really good marketing or good advertising to talk about this is a great time to buy or this is a great time to sell. It's super specific to that family, to that person, to that young professional that's ultimately thinking about making that move. And sometimes it's a terrible idea to buy or sell real estate when you have a lot of other factors and decisions that have to be made. So I'll get off my soapbox for the moment, but anyway, I see a lot of similarities between where you are and where we are in Atlanta here, because the right properties, the ones that are move-in ready, that have got the real attention to detail, I feel like, are still selling at or above asking, and on average like 5 to 10% right now. So while we're still seeing a little shift and a little softening, to me, it's actually getting back to like more of a normal market, if we can knock on wood and hope for the best. And it just won't be as crazy as it has for the last 24, 26 months. So anyway, well, talk to us a little bit about your business.
Let me respond to that just a little bit.
Sure.
Here's another thing that's a little bit interesting that I think, and I'd love to hear what Atlanta's doing, but like for Wilson County and and I'll just say east of Nashville, right? That's kind of where we go. 70% of our market is new construction. So our new construction is driving a lot of that demand, a lot of that prices. And I've noticed, especially in the last 2 months, as the interest rates have started to creep up, like they're holding on to their inventory and not advertising it. So now they're causing a higher strain in our inventory. And so that is helping them get those prices correct for them, making what they're used to. And it just goes to show you how great of an area we are, is that if new construction is 70% of our market, that means nobody wants to leave.
Yeah.
So just a great area. I'm curious on Atlanta. How does that affect you guys?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a little bit different size city, right, in terms of people, but we do see new construction. We're actually seeing an interesting thing take place where a lot of the new builds are actually going direct to rent. And to me, there's no difference in building, 300 apartment units and building 300 homes that you're ultimately going to rent. Like they're basically the same thing in theory. Yes, they're done differently. Yes, they cost way different things, or way different amounts. But you're basically doing the same thing there. So if you and I put together a REIT and decided that we were going to build 300 apartments versus building, 300 single family, 3-bed, 2-bath homes for rent, they're basically the same thing. And so I think that, to your point, as far as inventory is concerned, we've seen a shift in that completely, where builders and a lot of the local smaller builders in Atlanta have been absorbed, or through M&A have gotten taken by some of the larger regional or even national builders. And so now we don't have a lot of competition when it comes to local builders that are building massive projects, and massive being 50, 100, 200 homes at a time. We still have the Pulte's, we still have the Lenore's, we still have the D.R. Hortons and everything else. So, to me, there's been this little bit of a shift where a lot of those local builders have gone away. And in fact, we were talking about this yesterday at a networking event with a bunch of residential and commercial developers that, we haven't been building our new construction product nearly. I mean, we're like 40 or 50% of the pace for the last 4 or 5 years that we should have been, just to keep up with new construction demand. So now you throw the other inventory issues on top of that, and now you see why the average price has gone from 400 to now 500 in Atlanta, literally in like a year or less. Yeah. And so, yeah, we've seen a lot of the same challenges and issues. And to me, the new construction holding back like that, we saw some crazy things in contracts where new construction would say, here's the price today, but if lumber goes up, here's the price tomorrow. And it's like, how can you, as a buyer's agent, recommend to your buyers that this is a good thing? And how do you even navigate? Like, this is stuff that we've never seen before, literally never seen in contracts.
Why have a contract?
Go ahead.
Why have a contract?
Exactly. Exactly.
Why are we signing this in the first place?
Yeah, this contract's good for the next 30 days, and then we'll readjust and see how much more money we're going to make. But I literally had buyers that were super savvy and investors and so on that were reading every line of these contracts and going, Matt, you know that they can go up 5% on us, like across the board, 5% increase. And when you're talking about a $400,000 or $450,000 property, that's substantial. So anyway, we'll get off that soapbox as well. But I appreciate the insight to your area as well. So, talk a little bit about your progression, kind of where you are with your team as far as what your specialty or your niche looks like, and then also talk to us about the future. Like, what does this team look like in the future for you guys?
Great question. So we, like I said, I kind of started small. Just kind of, and anybody that's, I think, worth anything in real estate, like it takes a while to generate business, right? I think you gotta do it the right way. And my mom did something for me right when I came on that I appreciate more than anything else. Is she said, "I'm never going to give you a lead. Real estate is hard. This business is hard, and you need to learn how to hunt yourself. Like you've got to learn how to generate your own business." And I was ticked at the time because I thought this was easy, right? But it taught me something fantastic. And the next thing it did is, as I was learning that, I was watching her. And at that time, she was a very successful agent. I think she did 80 or so transactions that year. And so in my first 6 months, as I'm trying to figure out my way, I'm watching her do 40 transactions, and I'm involved. And the average agent does 8 transactions a year, so I got 4 or 5 years of transactions, experience under my belt my first 6 months. And so when I really had my first client, I hit the ground running. I felt like I knew what I was doing. Now, I feel like one of the big pillars of my team is education, right? I require them to spend an hour a day in education, whether it's reading an article or watching a Zoom or listening to you talk, right? Because you get a lot of education listening to you. And then they have to report back to the team. This is what I learned. And everybody does their little 5-minute recap of what they learned that week or that day. And I think that's a huge thing for continually pushing our agents to get better. Mm-hmm. But we've progressively grown over the years. Like I said, we've got 2 full-time agents now. I've got 2 full-time admins and then a marketing director. I think we finished just over 180 transactions last year.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a good year. And so the thing that I love about my team is everybody's got a role. Everybody knows their role, but we have cross-trained so much, like there's never a gap. I kind of, and this is a good thing, bad thing. I feel like we're overstaffed for a reason, so that we can go through and say, no misses here, no misses here. We're constantly double, tripling, quadruple checking just to make sure not only we're doing what we're supposed to do, but the other side's doing what they're supposed to do, and the lender's doing what they're supposed to do, and the title company's doing. And just the fact that we can touch it that many times and then keep constant communication with our clients, like if that ever goes away, like that's when I'll stop, right? I think that's the cornerstone. That's what provides the service. Our motto is exceptional service is a must. So no matter what, you're going to get the best service. And if we don't know the answer, we're going to go find it.
Yeah, I love that. Well, and especially with that kind of volume, like I don't think people really understand that amount of volume with that size of a team is a lot of transactions. I mean, that's a lot of transactions for anyone, right? But to maintain that quality, I mean, it's just like Chick-fil-A, right? I think about Chick-fil-A. Every time I go to Chick-fil-A, morning, afternoon, or evening, it's slammed, right? Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't matter which one I go to. It can be in the middle of the North Georgia mountains. It still has a line somehow. But yet, every time I go there, the consistency in the service is ultimately why I go back. Yes, the food's delicious, and I love having a great customer experience. But when you look at the volume, right, they do more than any other fast food company, and they do it with one less day than all the other ones. So I love that. Well, so kind of in closing here, Eddie, tell everyone where they can find you. If an agent is watching this and they're like, I got someone for Nashville, or I got someone for for Juliet perfectly. I really want to make sure that we get to those people as well. But also, if people are thinking about making a move to the Nashville area, or even just east of Nashville, or I mean, I know you're just like me. You know, agents all over Tennessee, just like I know agents all over Georgia, and it doesn't make sense for me to drive 4 hours down to Valdosta to show one property. So please tell the people where they can get a hold of you. What's the fastest way for them to get in touch?
Sure. My cell phone is obviously the easiest, but you can find me pretty much on any social platform. I'm not real good at it, but my team's a little bit better. So anything Team Rockensock, teamrockensock.com. If you sign up for anything there, it comes directly to me. It's not sold anywhere else. It doesn't go anything. And my cell phone, 615-525-0442.
Awesome, man. Perfect. I really, again, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for doing this. And you get back out there and back on 180 transactions, man. That's amazing.
We gotta be better this year, right?
I love it. Yeah, 200. Here we come.
That's right. That's the goal.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much again. I really appreciate it. Have a great weekend. And thank you all for watching again. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We got a ton of interviews here from, again, agents all over the country. So if you're moving somewhere, I've probably interviewed someone in that area, or at least in that state, that can connect you with a whole network of other agents throughout that state as well. So please don't hesitate to reach out. All of our contact info is down below. And if you're watching this and you're going, hey, I need an agent over here, I'll find one. If I don't have one already, I'll find one. And we want to, again, be a great resource for you. So thanks again, Eddie. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Matt. This is awesome. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.